Now we can talk about the actual recording section, and this is the section of the amp that I think really sets it apart from other guitar interface applications. Because AmpKit is more than just a practice tool where you sit there and you play with nothing to show for it at the end of the day. You can actually record what you're playing right within the app. And the genius part of this is that as it's recording, it records both the process signal that you hear while you're actually playing through the amp and the gear settings that you pick, and it also records a dry signal. And that means that you can go back after the fact and you can reamp and change it until you get exactly what you want. Now here's an example. This is a recording that I made earlier by plugging my own guitar into the preset that we made earlier with a tube screamer and a little bit of a reverb on it. And it's just a standard Fender Strat with Tex-Mex pickups. Now this is the recording page. It actually shows you the waveform of the recording that you made, and you can just hit play to hear the actual version that was recorded when you made it with all of the different amps and gear applied to it. And that will eventually just keep looping, but the very cool thing is that now we can go back and we can actually click this live reamp button, and it shows us the same gear that we had applied to the original recording, but now we can go in and we can turn off certain parts of it. Say we want to change it to a different type of distortion. We'll click over here and we'll pick their rabid rodent. I'm going to turn off the delay on that. Okay, so that gives you a basic idea of what you can do with a reamp. And also from this screen you have the ability to share out your recording. You can either email it as a WAV file or send it to SoundCloud, which is an online service that lets you have a repository of sound files. And one other way that you can get your music in and out is if we go back to the actual recording sessions page, there's this upload button up here in the corner. And I don't have my Wi-Fi turned on right now, but if I did, it would actually have a web address right there, and I can go to my desktop computer, type that web address into my browser, and then it would give me a nice page where I can download all of the recordings and the backing tracks that are on the device right now. And also gives me the option to upload, and I can either upload more dry guitar signal recordings that can then be processed by the modeling software, or I can upload a backing track, and it gives you the option as you're uploading it which type of recording it is, so that it knows whether it goes into one section or the other. Devices running iOS 4 have an additional option for getting files in and out. They can even import recordings directly from email, and in a variety of formats like MP3, M4A, and WAV files, and I think about 3 or 4 other file formats. And as I mentioned earlier, either method of transfer will let you differentiate whether you're importing a dry guitar track or a backing track when you bring it in. I'm going to go ahead and give you one more example of what the application actually sounds like with a live guitar going through it. This time I'm using a Gretsch 6120, and I'm using a set that I made called Rockabilly, which just has a model of a Fender Twin and some reverb and delay on there to get a nice rockabilly type sound. So that's my review of the AmpKit from Agile Partners and the LiNK from Peavey Electronics. I'll wrap it up with a few pros and cons. On the pro side, it seems to have excellent tone and fairly accurate gear simulations, especially for an iPhone app. And the ability to go back and reamp your dry guitar signal even after you've recorded the fully processed live performance is very cool. The battery-powered guitar interface seems to do away with crosstalk problems and provide much better audio fidelity compared to other devices that I've tested. On the con side, I think it could get a little expensive by the time you purchase all the gear that's available in the gear store, but the $19.99 package deal gives you a great starting point. I would really like to see an iPad version of the app, even though this one will run on the iPad and the iPhone mode, and they've done a really good job of creating a user interface that doesn't make you jump all over the place to switch pedals on and off. And of course the ability to have all those pedals in a row just beats the socks off of the other applications that I've tested. I just love to see what they could do with the iPad's increased real estate. So that's it. AmpKit for iPhone and iPad from Agile Partners and the LiNK guitar interface from Peavey. The app comes in both a free and a paid version for $19.99, plus you can add more gear to either version via in-app purchases. The LiNK device sells for $39.99. It's available online as of today, and Agile promises that it will be available in stores eventually too. So, that's it. Definitely a keeper. Thanks very much for watching. I know this was a long one. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in iPhone and iPad applications and accessories, and especially if you like to focus on music as it applies to those devices. Thanks very much.